Hi, my name is Tara, and I want to welcome you to the View from Israel podcast. Our motto is, "The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing." The View from Israel was born on the Black Sabbath of October 7, 2023, from the need to present valid and confirmed information to the public. Our social media hashtag is View from Israel. Our podcast is available in all major podcast directories. You can listen to it in your favorite podcast app. Our free newsletter is on Substack and comes out approximately 5 times a week. Please take note. We are not associated with any political movement or with any outside institution or company. Our entire budget comes from advertisements in our podcasts and newsletters and videos, memberships, and donations. This is the View from Israel, where we believe silence is no longer an option. We are guided by one major principle. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. Now let us go to our podcast.
The title of this podcast is, "Why is the delay in the hostage return not surprising?" Now, for our first section, let the games begin. Just yesterday, in my piece entitled, "Who Shall Live and Who Shall Die?" Dealing with the devil never ends well. An impossible decision. Who shall be at rest, and who shall be tormented? I gave 14 reasons why some in Israel are against the deal with Hamas. The very first reason reads as follows. In all deals, there has to be an element of trust between the two sides, that they will meet their obligations. There is no such trust here for Hamas. There is not a soul in Israel that trusts Hamas. The overall feeling is that Hamas will simply drag this out, in an excruciating manner, playing upon the collective psychology of the Israeli people. Once the first 4 days are up, they will trickle out ever more hostages for more time. This cannot work in Israeli society for too long. It will cause an explosion of might beyond anyone's wildest dreams. The country went to sleep last night, if you could sleep, hoping against all odds that today we would have a list of those who would be released by Hamas, and at what time that would happen. I tried to leave the pronoun I out of my articles, leaving that for the woke movement and their tomfoolery. They love the pronoun I because the world revolves around them and only them. Or, to be fair, they love the pronoun they because, of course, they are binary, whatever that is supposed to mean. Yet, in this case, the pronoun I will be used. I will say that upon waking up this morning, I was afraid to turn on the news. Perhaps it is just that inner voice that tells you something is going to go wrong. Sure enough, the moment the news came on, I was greeted with the headline that the exchange was now delayed for 24 hours due to, well, that depends on what paper or what television news you are listening to. No one seems to really know. The only thing that is common between all sources is that Hamas could not produce the list of hostages to be released. Here are some of the headlines that appeared in the papers. In the Haaretz newspaper, Israel, no hostage release before Friday. Qatar says ceasefire announcement imminent. In the Jerusalem Post, Israel-Hamas war, ceasefire, hostage deal delayed until Friday. Hamas keeping hand on trigger, to name 10 hostages set for release on Friday. Ceasefire won't apply to Hezbollah in southern Lebanon. In the New York Times, Israel says no hostage release, or pause in fighting before Friday. And on CNN, Israel says hostage release won't take place before Friday. Why is all this not surprising? Well, the one thing Hamas is excellent at is manipulating the psychological and emotional reactions of the Israeli populace. They have done this before, and they have mastered the art of manipulation. Not only do people all over the world read the news, but Hamas does so as well. So do Qatar, the Hamas providers and backers. And no, I will not nor ever pay lip service to Qatar, thanking their help with the hostage release. They are as bad as Hamas, despite what the U.S. Secretary of State tries to make you believe. In essence, Qatar is a terrorist state. It is that simple. There is another reason for the delay. There is no trust by Israel and Hamas that they will deliver what they promised to. Such a breach of an agreement would put Israel in an almost untenable situation. If Hamas does not deliver, does Israel continue with the war, and then let the world scream? Give them more time. It was a simple mistake. Israel would be in a position of waiting, and Hamas, being the masters of psychological manipulation that they are, would drag it out to rearm and attack. So what does Israel do? Whole families are waiting to see if their loved ones are on the selection list. Again, the very existence and necessity of such a list are so reminiscent of Nazi Germany, it is beyond sad. This is what happens when you make a deal with the devil. The devil always takes his due. And Hamas truly makes dealing with the devil look like a picnic.
Thank you for listening. Once again, our podcast is available in all major podcast directories. You can listen to it in your favorite podcast app and soon on our YouTube channel. Our free newsletter is on Substack and comes out approximately 5 times a week. Either use the links in our profile here, or just go to substack.com and search for The View from Israel. You can subscribe via an email address. It is totally free. There is no paywall. Please consider subscribing, giving us a like, and sharing this podcast and our newsletter with your friends. All donations and memberships are greatly appreciated. If you wish to advertise with us, in our podcast, or in our newsletter, please contact us at advertise@viewfromisrael.com. Please take note. We are not associated with any political movement or with any outside institution or company. Our entire budget comes from advertisements in our podcasts and videos, and newsletters, and memberships, and donations. This is The View from Israel, where we believe silence is no longer an option. We are guided by one major principle. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. Have a wonderful day.